It's Friday and I actually have a day of vacation, so I want to go paint. I can't wait to go paint, actually. Got my gear, you can probably see in the back there, and I don't know what I'm going to go paint, but it's a beautiful day here, so I'm going to go hit the road. I ended up at one of our parks here in town, and I like the scene. The snow, the design of the lines, the little creek here in the foreground, and those trees. So something like this can be kind of complex, and one of the challenges is going to be to simplify that and be able to make a painting out of it. I'll start by drawing some lines in here to show kind of compositionally what I'm interested in. I like the flow here, like I said, of the creek, the shape of the trees if you treat them as a big mass, and the flow into the background. Some really great, powerful lines that add a lot of energy to this composition. The next step here is kind of fun. If you can take the scene, break it down into 3 values, and add a couple of accents, accents meaning the lightest light and the darkest dark, but really try to break your scene down into just 3 value shapes and apply one of the 3 values to each item or element within the landscape there, and it will greatly simplify the scene. Gives you a wonderful roadmap from which to build your painting upon. Here's the palette of colors I'll be using today. Actually, I use this palette all the time. It's a warm and a cool basically of my blue, red, and yellow, plus a couple of earth tones, black and white. Great palette, very versatile, and not a lot of colors. All right, well, these winter days are short, so let's get going. I begin here by using my ochre to draw in the main lines and just place the image and the shapes onto my canvas, trying to feel my way through this, make sure I get the placement and the size and relationships correctly here. I'm choosing ochre because of the grasses in the scene. I'll want some of this to show through as I go back in and paint snow over the top of it later, so may as well choose a color that you want to show through in the final version of the painting. I'll use my paper towel here to soften the colors, blend them together, and to imply some of the detail, all of that mass of branches and twigs and grasses. I can't paint all of those, they wouldn't look right if I tried to, but with the paper towel it leaves these nice little marks and this soft blending that really does a lot of the work for me. Yeah, look at how that ochre gets pulled up into the dark. It just makes it look like a natural bank of grasses. I'll start to paint a few of the sky holes here in and among the trees as I paint the sky. May as well while I have that color on my brush. And that'll give a chance while I'm painting other areas that blue will set up a bit and allow me to paint back over it with some of the tree colors and minimize the blending later. Let me adjust this and get rid of that glare. There, that's better. This is the end of the block-in phase. The block-in allows me to paint loose and get the general value and color of the shapes. All of the painting from here on out really will be a refinement within those boundaries I've set in the block-in. Here's the snow in shadow. I'm going with a deep value here. I'm not sure if I'll have this right. I think I'm going to need to go a little bit darker, but it's much darker than you think. When you're looking at the scene, everything seems so bright, and the snow, you want to go with white naturally, right? But it's really not. And if you go too light on the snow that's in the shadow, you leave no room for really making the highlights in the snow pop later on. Testing with some little dabs here to make sure I've got the right value and color before I fully commit. So this is the flat plane of snow, which I have to make blue. I see it really reflecting the sky, and it seems dark as I put it on the white panel here, but I think this is right. It's reflecting the sky, so it's going to be cooler, but it's lighter in value than that snow behind it that's in shadow. Just so you know, I've edited out all of the video where I am actually have my brush down on the palette mixing color. That equates to about half of the elapsed time in a painting is down there mixing, and the other half actually up on the canvas making brush strokes. All right, now I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to put in some of these highlights. These are the accents, but really it's the snow in the sunshine. It's going to be the brightest value in my painting. I don't want to overdo it right now, but I do need to get a few of these in here so I can help judge my other color and value mixtures in the painting. It's the value and temperature relationship between these warm highlights and those cool shadows that's going to give you convincing light. I'm really going to need to push and scrub with my brush here to get some texture. I think I'll refine this pine tree back in there. I like this dark shape. I don't need to be too precious about it, but establish that dark in there. The trunks on these birch trees are really high key value as well because they're catching full sunlight. That dark shape of the pine tree behind there will help me set them up. But let me get a few lights in here and just see if I've got enough range and value here to really make those birch trunks pop. I think I need to use my palette knife here loaded up with a little bit of that light value to really cake some of that light value onto the painting. And of course now I'm going to go in with a dark and reestablish that line of the trunk with the dark behind it. Maybe I can use the handle of my brush here to scratch in some of these real fine branches. I'll start to gently lay in some of these kind of orange, they're a little more orange branches. I don't know what that tree is, maybe a willow or a dogwood or something. Yeah, just real light. That's leaving a nice textured brush stroke to this dark, the dark shape that I put down to begin with. It's nice and set up, so I'm not really dragging too much of that color in to my light paint that I'm putting down right now. Now my painting is slowing down as I'm more deliberate, looking really at my subject and understanding exactly what I'm trying to put down. So I'm drawing in the shapes of light filtering through the branches onto those background trunks. Now I better go back in and reestablish some of the sky here. Clean up some of the edges where the sky and that pine meet a little bit. Maybe even define some of the branches here in this red willow. Now all these shapes that I put down, that tree mass in my block in, really all that's still my block in that you see here. And it's set up enough to where I can paint my clean blue sky on top of it without getting the two to blend and make kind of a muddy color. I'm trying to simplify the values in the snow. I got a little bit carried away, I think, and so I'm just reestablishing what's in the light, what's in the shadow, and just design it in a way that's pleasing. I think I know the perfect blending tool for this job. All right, now get serious about this painting. I gotta put a few of these accents, my light accents. Just enough though. I really want to lead the viewer into this scene with these highlights here. I think I've got the right temperature. It's nice and warm, not too yellow, mostly white, very bright. A little bit's enough here. Now I better reestablish a few of these shadow shapes. This little rigger brush works great to indicate some grasses. Now with the dark color on that tiny brush, I'll go in and put some shadow on the shadow side of the trunks and branches. And the palette knife's a great tool for some of these lines. that's a wrap. Hey, thanks for watching today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, and until next time, see you then.